What if I told you there's a pen on sale right now that costs 50 times less than a Montblanc and beats it on paper, that the $1,270 on that price tag buys you an 18-karat nib, a piston, and a piece of black resin with a white star glued to the cap, and that the people who write for a living worked this out years ago and quietly walked away from it for machines built in small workshops in Hiroshima and Hanover and Heidelberg? Here's what most people miss. When you buy a Montblanc Meisterstück 149, you are buying three things: an 18-karat gold nib, a piston filling system, a black resin barrel. Everything above that is the star, the boutique, the box, and the marketing budget. Stay with me, because at number 8 I'm going to show you a Japanese pen that puts 21-karat gold into its nib. 21. That is more gold than Montblanc uses, in a better nib, for roughly a quarter of the price. And at number 9, the finale, there's a pen that swallows so much ink you can write for weeks without touching a bottle. Using a filling system Montblanc has never once put inside a Meisterstück in over 70 years of making them. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we post new videos every week pulling the curtain back on what you are actually paying for, putting that knowledge back where it belongs, with you, the person holding the pen. So let's get into it. Here are 9 fountain pens that make Montblanc look overpriced, ranked from remarkable to absolutely absurd. Number 1. The Kaweco Sport, the little octagon that outlived nearly every company that laughed at it. Kaweco was founded in Heidelberg in 1883. Think about that. 1883, decades before the ballpoint pen existed, decades before Montblanc existed. It remains one of the oldest pen manufacturers in the world. The Sport is a pocket pen. Closed, it measures 10.5 centimeters, small enough to vanish into a shirt pocket. Post the cap, and it grows to 13.5. The barrel is an octagon, so it will not roll off a sloped desk. Modern testing has caught up to what that Heidelberg workshop worked out over a century ago. The chrome-plated steel nib is tipped with iridium, the alloy that keeps expensive nibs from wearing flat, and it lays ink down with a consistency that has no business appearing at this price. Here's the practical use that still works today. Keep one inked as your everyday carry, the pen you are not precious about, the one you hand to a stranger without flinching. The Sport got buried under the idea that a serious pen must be big and expensive. It is $25, and it has been doing this job for over 140 years. It is small enough that one is probably already sitting in the bottom of a bag 5 feet from where you are. Number 2. The Pilot Metropolitan, the $30 pen that embarrasses pens costing 10 times more. Pilot has been making writing instruments for over 100 years, and the Metropolitan is what happens when a company that size builds a beginner pen without cutting the parts that matter. The barrel is not plastic. It is brass, machined and matte finished, giving a density people mistake for something far more expensive. Why does that matter? Because weight is the cheapest thing a luxury brand fakes and the most expensive thing to actually deliver. Modern reviewers have caught up, and the verdict has been unanimous for years. It tops beginner lists, and experienced collectors keep them inked anyway. The steel nib is unusually smooth, and because Pilot is Japanese, the fine writes closer to a Western extra fine, superb for small handwriting. Here's the practical use that still works today. The nib and feed are friction fit, so they pull straight out with your fingers, and nibs from the Pilot penmanship, Prera, Kakuno, and Plumix all drop straight in. For a few dollars you turn this into an extra fine or a stub. The Metropolitan got overlooked because it does not shout. No star, no gold band, no ceremony. Just brass, a good nib, and a converter in the box. It is the pen most people already own and forgot, sitting in a drawer with a dried cartridge in it. Number 3. The TWSBI Eco, the piston filler that broke the price floor and never let it back up. For most of fountain pen history, a piston filler meant a serious pen. It is the mechanism inside a Montblanc one. 49, drawing ink straight into the barrel with no cartridge and no converter. It was the line between a toy and an instrument. Then, TWSBI built one for around $37, and the hierarchy stopped making sense. The Eco holds 1.76 milliliters of ink, more than many gold-nibbed pens, costing $500, and you watch every drop move because the body is a clear demonstrator. Modern engineering has caught up with the assumption that mechanical complexity has to be expensive, and TWSBI did something almost nobody at any price does. They put a piston wrench and silicone grease in the box, handing you the tools to service your own pen. Montblanc will not do that. Most brands void your warranty for trying. Here's the practical use that still works today. This is the pen for long sessions, journaling, exam notes, a full day of meetings, the writing where a cartridge dies halfway through. The Eco got dismissed as a starter pen because of the price. That was a mistake. It is serviceable, high capacity, and mechanically honest. If you have ever run out of ink mid-thought, this one belongs on the desk you are sitting at. Number 4. The Pelikan Classic M200. The German piston pen hiding inside a German luxury pen's body. Pelikan has been in business since 1838 out of Hanover, Germany, which makes it older than nearly every prestige name in the category. Their flagship is the Souverain line, the gold-nibbed pens collectors chase for decades. Here's what most people don't know. The M200 is built on the same classic design, the same build quality, and the same piston filling system as the gold-nibbed Souverain M400. Same shape, same mechanism, same Hanover factory. The difference is the nib material, and the difference in price is enormous. Modern testing has caught up to the truth the industry does not advertise, which is that a well-tuned steel nib and a gold nib lay down remarkably similar lines, and most writers, blind, cannot tell them apart. Pelikan's steel nibs are wet and generous, with an ink window showing how much you have left. Here's the practical use that still works today. It takes bottled ink only, so the running cost collapses. A bottle lasts a year and costs less than a box of cartridges. The M200 got overshadowed by its own siblings because the marketing pushes you up the ladder toward the M800 and the M1000. It is the German engineering people pay 4 figures for, sitting one shelf below where they are told to look. Number 5. The Platinum 3776 Century. The pen that solved the problem every other fountain pen still has. Platinum was founded in Japan in 1919, and the 3776 is named for the height of Mount Fuji in meters, 3,776. The pen was released in 1978 and has been in production ever since. Here's the thing, every fountain pen owner quietly tolerates. You ink a pen, you get busy, you come back 3 weeks later, and it will not start. The ink dried in the nib. Platinum engineered that away. The cap contains a patented slip and seal inner mechanism, a spring-loaded seal that closes around the nib and stops evaporation, and it keeps ink usable inside the pen for up to 24 months. 2 years, capped, and it writes on the first stroke. Modern engineering has caught up to a problem the prestige brand simply decided to live with. The nib is 14-karat gold in 8 widths, including an ultra-extra fine that lays some of the finest lines anywhere, and a music nib for notation. Here's the practical use that still works today. This is the pen you keep in a drawer for things that only happen occasionally. Cards, letters, signatures. Pick it up in a year, and it works. The 3776 got ignored in the West because Platinum spends nothing on shop windows. It spends it on the cap. It is the pen that would still be writing if you found it in a desk you had not opened since last summer. If you are starting to see the pattern, if you are realizing that almost everything separating a $1,000 pen from a $200 pen happens somewhere other than the paper, do me a favor and smash that like button. It helps this video reach people tired of paying for a logo. And if you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button because we are putting this knowledge back where it belongs. Number 6. The Lamy 2000. The 1966 design that never needed updating. Lamy introduced this pen in 1966, and the changes since have been minimal because there was nothing to fix. It came from a brief by Manfred Lamy to build something clean, functional, and stripped of decoration, and 60 years later it still looks like it arrived from further ahead than we are now. The body is Macrolon, a polycarbonate reinforced with fiberglass, paired with brushed stainless steel. Macrolon was new and difficult at the time, far harder to work with than the resins everyone else used. The result is light, warm, and tough in a way display case pens are not. Modern testing has caught up and confirmed what owners have said for decades. It survives abuse. Owners report 4-foot drops onto tile that leave a scuff and nothing more. The nib is 14-karat karat gold and hooded, recessed into the section so only the tip is exposed, which is why the pen reads as one unbroken line. It is a piston filler holding 1.35 milliliters, with no step where the section meets the barrel, so you can hold it anywhere. Here's the practical use that still works today. At around $223, it is one of the cheapest gold-nibbed piston fillers any major brand sells. The 2000 got called boring by people who wanted their pen to announce itself. That was the entire point. It is the pen that disappears in your hand, which is what you want from something you hold for hours. Number 7. The Pilot Vanishing Point. The only real innovation in fountain pens in 50 years, and Montblanc never built one. Fountain pens have a fundamental design problem. The cap. You remove it, post it, then find it again, and that ritual is why fountain pens lost the office to the ballpoint. Every luxury brand decided the ceremony was the selling point. Pilot solved it. The vanishing point retracts. Click the button on the end, exactly like a ballpoint, and an 18-karat gold nib comes out of the barrel. Click again, and it goes back in. Why does that matter? Because the engineering is hard. Behind the opening sits a trap door that swings shut over the nib when it retracts, sealing it so the ink does not dry. A moving gold nib, a spring, and an automatic seal inside a weighted metal body. Modern engineering has caught up to what this design solves, and it has become a fixture for people whose hands are full. It is also airplane safe, the nib sealed inside the barrel during the pressure changes. Here's the practical use that still works today. This is the fountain pen for people who thought fountain pens were impractical. Nurses, engineers, anyone signing standing up, anyone writing in short bursts. The 18-karat nib is rhodium-plated. It ships with a converter and a cartridge, and it costs well under $300. It is the pen that fits the shirt pocket clip alongside the ballpoints you are still using. Number 8. The Sailor Professional Gear. The pen with more gold in its nib than the Montblanc it undercuts. Sailor was founded in Japan in 1911 and has built precision writing instruments ever since. Their other flagship line is named after that year. Here's the number that should stop you. Montblanc's Meisterstück 149 uses an 18-karat gold nib. The Sailor Professional Gear uses 21-karat, 21, higher gold content than the pen, costing 3 and 4 times as much. And this is not a specification for its own sake. Sailor's gold nibs are known for a distinctive feedback, a fine vibration you feel as the tip crosses the grain of the paper. Other brands sand that away, chasing smoothness. Sailor leaves it, because it tells your hand where it is. Modern reviewers have caught up, and Sailor nibs are now considered among the finest made anywhere. The Pro Gear has flat ends, a cutaway cap, and the Sailor anchor inlaid at the top. The Realo adds a piston filler, and the line starts around $325. Here's the practical use that still works today. If you write small and you write a lot, a Japanese 21-karat nib and a fine will outperform almost anything a European house sells at any price. Sailor got left off Western shelves for decades because it never bought the shop windows. It quietly outclasses whatever is sitting in the presentation box on someone's desk right now. Number 9. The Pilot Custom 823. The pen that ends the argument. This is Pilot's flagship, and it uses a vacuum filling system, which almost nobody builds anymore because it is difficult and expensive to manufacture. You pull a plunger back, push it down, and a vacuum drags ink into the barrel. Montblanc has never put one in a Meisterstück. The reason it matters is capacity. It holds around 1.5 to 2 milliliters, one of the largest in its class, and the translucent barrel lets you watch it slosh as you write. Unscrew the blind cap and ink flows to the nib. Screw it down and the barrel seals completely, which is why it does not burp ink on aircraft or in hot cars. Modern engineering has caught up to a mechanism the industry abandoned as too costly, and the result is copied so widely that entire Chinese models exist imitating this exact system and smoky barrel. The nib is a 14-karat number 15, one of Pilot's larger nibs in fine, medium, and broad, packaged with a bottle of ink. Here's the practical use that still works today. Fill it once and write for weeks. Take it on a plane. Forget about ink entirely. $416 against a $1,270 Meisterstück, and it out-engineers it on the one thing a fountain pen is judged on, which is getting ink to paper reliably. It is the last pen most people ever buy, and it will outlive the desk it lives on. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you have just learned something extraordinary. The gap between $1,000 $100 pen and a $200 pen is almost never in the nib, the feed, or the filling system. It is in the box, the boutique, and the star on the cap. Smash that like button if this video changed the way you think about what a pen is worth. Drop a comment below and tell me which one surprised you the most. Are you Team Sailor Professional Gear, with more gold in the nib than the pen it undercuts? Team Lamy 2000, the design that never needed changing? Or Team Pilot Custom 823, the one that ends the argument outright? I read every comment and I love hearing from you. And if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. We are here to put real information back in the hands of the people spending the money. I would love to have you on this journey with us. Remember, sometimes the finest pen in the room is not the one behind the glass with the star on the cap. Sometimes it is the one from a small workshop in Hiroshima or Hanover, quietly outwriting it for a quarter of the price, just waiting for you to pick it up.